Welcome to the guitar tutorial, how to pretend that you know how to play guitar. I'm joking. So welcome to the daily meditations and reflections. Thanks for watching. I tell you in advance, so before you just run away to do something better. And as every day, I'm going to read to you a thought from Omar Mikhail Ivanov. And this thought is taken from a book called Daily Meditations, published and sold by Prosveta. You can also find it on Amazon. And these thoughts are usually about, of course, spirituality, self-development, and the goal is enlightening people and help us to find harmony within and without in order to bring someday universal brotherhood and sisterhood on humanity. And the goal of my humble events is to read this thought to you and give my comments, although in a limited way, as I'm not a master. I'm just a humble disciple of Ivanov. Actually, before starting to read it, who is a master, and who is a disciple? Anyway, maybe the role of a master, or the figure of a master is more known probably on the east of the globe, where you probably heard about gurus, or if we think about martial arts, we think about masters. And who is a master? A master is, to give a general definition, is someone who knows something more than us, definitely, and has more experience. And then what is a spiritual master? A spiritual master is someone who has already done a lot of experiences, human experiences, so knows very well about how the humans work and live, and because of that shares his experience and wisdom achieved lives after life in a way that can free the human beings and help them to become who they really are, and so bring harmony within them and helping them to live in a correct, proper, loveful way with the others. So anyway, I'm going to read the thought of today, which is about stability and change at the same time. So, human beings do not particularly enjoy hearing about fidelity and stability. They find it boring, they need change. But who says that stability and faithfulness are incompatible with the change? We can vary anything we like as long as we don't change direction. Masters and initiates also like change and variety, but not just anywhere or anyhow. A master is in favor of outer variety and inner unity, that is to say, fidelity to a high ideal. It's not an easy thought. The two key words are fidelity, stability, and direction, and also high ideal. So it says that human beings normally gets bored of things that repeat, of routines. You probably can confirm that with your life experience. It can be like eating the same thing, doing the same things, living in the same place. There are many things that we can repeat every day and get bored about. And actually this thought can be interpreted or seen on different levels. And for example, I thought about activity. You probably heard about Anthony Robbins, is one of the most known coaches in the words, and it talks about six needs of human beings, and one of those needs is the need of variety. To have a fulfilled life, we need variety in our activities. And why is that? There are also different studies that tried to find the connection between our cognitive system, our level of joy, and the variety. And now I don't remember exactly the results, but definitely there was a connection. But it's very easy if you think about that. The more new things you discover and learn every day, of course, this will have an impact on your cognitive system, on your brain. You will learn new stuff. The famous comfort zone. Every time you go out of your comfort zone, you learn something else and you improve. Also, the challenge that everyday's life bring to us, it's pushing us to live in a different way. Actually, if you also look at nature, you see that everything moves, nothing stops, and if you try to stop, actually you are pushed in some way to take the action. And if you think about, actually, sufferance comes from our inability when we don't want to change, when we don't want to follow the flow many times. And yeah, sufferance can be also linked to our desire to stay in our known comfort zone. And that's why nature puts the sort of let's say, or the universal cosmic laws, put some sort of alarms that send us a challenge whenever we are stuck in some place. So it's, in this thought is said that it's not bad. It's normal to look for change, but what is important is that we do not change the direction. And how can we think about the direction in our daily life, thinking about our daily activities? Imagine like you have many skills, you know how to do many things, but if you start doing too many different things, you might lose your time and also capabilities and not achieve so much in your life. But if you concentrate your knowledge, your skills into the same direction, then you might achieve a lot, much more than if you spread your energies. So, and doesn't mean this that you have to repeat the same things. You know, you might change what you do. Also in your studies, you can study a bit of that, a bit of that other matter, but the important, it would be more effective if the direction is the same. And also this thought can be brought into another level of reading. I thought about a relationship, like love relationships. According to what is said in this thought, but normally, and this is probably something maybe you personally experienced or some friend of yours, in relationships, it can happen after a while that you get bored of your partner. I don't know if you ever had such an experience. And how is that possible if you think that in the beginning of the relationship you felt in love, you lost your sleep, your sense of hunger as well, because you were so much in love for the other person in the beginning, and then after a few months or years you lost completely the interest. How is that possible? And so this thought actually helps us to see also a sort of way to avoid this issue, because in a relationship, why do we get bored of the other? Because we tend, when we are becoming boring, and why do we become boring. When we do the same things, when we say the same things, when we think the same way, so how can we change that? So the secret of a long-lasting relationship is that each of the two in the couple every day do their best to change, but to change negatively, no, of course no. So they can do efforts to change every day to better their way of being. So every day questioning themselves and asking, okay, how can I speak better tomorrow? How can I be kinder? How can I be more loveful? How can I be wiser, more intelligent? How can I be faster? How can I be more healthier? And so on and so on and so on. So if the two partners of the couple have the same mindset, it's very likely that every day they will be new, different persons, and they will fall in love for each other every day. And again, it's important then to have a sort of glue that will stick them in this journey, which is having a high ideal together for the couple as well. So what can be in this case a high ideal? It can be like, I give you an example, for example, two partners that meet each other and they say, okay, let's help each other to evolve and to improve and to help each one of us to be really who we are, and helping each other also to contribute for something good for society, I don't know, for the world. This could be an idea to build something together, which is not just an house, because what happens normally in a relationship that the main goal is to make children, and then to buy a house, a car, and have children, but then they get bored. Once achieved these results, then the peak of love decreases a lot, because the ideal was not that high. I can share with you this scientific research. Is an experiment done with mice. They were put in a labyrinth, and there was cheese hidden in this labyrinth, and they were analyzing the levels of the hormones in the mouse, and also their cognitive activity. And they just realized that the level of happiness of the mouse was much higher, not when he was picking up the cheese, but just in the research before. And if you think about your life, it's like that. You have an objective, you are waiting for the holidays, and you have an increasing excitement getting to your desired event or thing that you wanted to buy or have. But then once you get it, then of course there is a decrease. Also for sexual relationship is the same. There is an arousal and then there is a drop. So there is a way actually to keep that level on the peak. And one secret is to have a really high objective. So I was talking about couples. So for a couple, the objective should not stop just to have material things like house or to have just children. But if the objective of the couple is something higher, like together we can contribute to something that goes outside our little family, this will have then infinite possibilities to make life moving in a new way every day, so that the two of them are never bored one of the other. And also, if you think about nature, nothing is stopping. All the atoms are moving. Everything is just movement, energy and light, moving all the time. Nothing stops. So nature is just showing us the way that we should move in some way. But again, it's important the direction. The direction should be always growth, evolution. There is no devolution if you think about nature. The cycle always follow the same. Of course, it's a cycle, but the direction is the same. After winter, there's always a spring and then summer. So maybe we can follow this example. And also going on a higher note on the interpretation of this thought, that I'm going to read quickly, just a few points. It says here, masters and initiates also like change and variety, but not just anywhere or anyhow. A master is in favor of outer variety and inner unity. That is to say, fidelity to a high ideal. This makes me think about the spiritual world. Nowadays, you can see a lot of spiritual teachings, traditions, religions. There are many ways. Sometimes too much. It's like a supermarket sometimes. And I've met people who are just taking a bit of that, a bit of that, a piece, a slice of there. Sometimes I saw also festivals are really like a supermarket, but at the end it becomes a sort of materialistic spirituality. And I have nothing against the variety in spiritual teachings, but what is important, also what I understand from this thought, is to have the direction. So it shouldn't be just the curiosity to push me to find, to choose a teaching, but should be a high idea that if you're talking about spirituality, must be living in harmony with myself and with the rest of the world, and hopefully doing something for the others and learning how to love. So it doesn't matter then whatever teaching you follow. You can also believe whatever, really, there are so many things. Doesn't matter. What really matters, again, is to have this high ideal, which is actually is the secret for a happy life. I used to be a normal coach in the beginning of my career, and I was helping people to setting objectives, daily objectives, monthly objectives, like a lot of objectives, till even the point of death, which is still an exercise that I share with my clients, let's say. But on top of that, to have a happy life, you need to add something more. Why? Because happiness is like, I don't remember who was saying this. I don't know if it was Ivanov or someone else. But anyway, it's like you run to reach that balloon and kick this balloon. And so happiness is that space between you and the ball. And but then you need always to push this ball some meters further. And so it's like life is it's like different curves with the peak of happiness and decreases. But if you, instead of putting the objective, let's say this is a sort of timeline, if I'm here and I put an objective here, so we have like this, I will have a peak of happiness when I'm getting closer to my the achievement of my goal, and then there will be a decrease. So then I need to set another goal. So this is something that you have to do it normally. It's normal and it's also efficient. But if you, on top of these little objectives, you add something very high, like I want to become a perfect example of human being, or I want to become like the sun, as my master Ivanov was saying. Everybody can become a manager, director, president, or whatever, but becoming like a sun, that is really something, and it's not achievable just in one life. So if you think like I want to become the best example, and the best example I can have of human being can be something similar to the sun, that although we might be stupid on this planet, the sun keeps sending light and warm, and sending us life. Doesn't matter what we do, and that is the real example of unconditional love. So one day I want to become like the sun. So this ideal it doesn't is go in conflict with the others objectives that you can have in your life, like work or buying stuff or saving money or whatever. But every morning, if you wake up and with this idea in mind, okay, today I have a new chance to become better, to improve. And that doesn't mean that you should be frustrate yourself with perfectionism. This might be a risk, I know it very well, but this means that you must acknowledge that you are a human being, that to become perfect, many mistakes are just a part of the school. Without making mistakes, we don't learn. It's really a way of learning, probably one of the best. And this thought of doing every day something different, improving a little part of you, that just give you a sort of challenge, that happiness that makes you happy. You can try to believe. This is my motto, try to believe. So I thought that probably I'm going to do these videos starting in the morning, in the sunrise. Probably I will not look like that. I will look with still the eyes closed, and probably I will be cold, as I will try to do it outside in the park. But I hope that this kind of videos can then boost your motivation and peak of energy every morning. So starting from tomorrow, I will live stream videos in the early morning. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you very soon.